Hallo ihr lieben Leute da draußen, hallo ihr schönen Menschen. Schön, dass ihr eingeschaltet habt. Ich bin's wieder, Nareas, aka der Tom. Und ich habe da im Hintergrund jetzt das Innistrad Showcase. Bin schon sehr gespannt. Innistrad Midnight Hunt. Showcase, Preview, Karten, irgendwas, Dings, Blödsinn. Bin schon sehr gespannt. Mal schauen. Schauen wir uns an. Ich freue mich schon so voll auf Innistrad. Schauen wir mal, was uns da erwartet. Wie sie das wieder cineastisch aufarbeiten und was uns so entgegenkommt. Vampire, Werwölfe. Ja gut, das wissen wir eh schon. Das hat so ausgeschaut wie die Alien. War das Alien Court?
Welcome to the debut of Innistrad Midnight Hunt, where the night is dark and full of terrors, just the way that werewolves like it. I am your host, Joe Manganello. As some of you know, I'm a longtime Magic player, but I have been practicing especially hard for this day because I have assembled some of the Wizards of the Coast staff, and they're going to explain some of the features of this fan favorite plane. And I also have someone else here who is an expert in all things magic, my good friend Jimmy Wong.
What's up, Joe?
Yes, how are you?
I'm doing great. I love Innistrad. I'm super excited. Werewolves, one of my favorite creatures. And hey, you know something about werewolves, don't you?
What do you mean?
What? That's like suspicious. Why would you answer it? That's something a werewolf would say, and you.
All right, I hate to cut you off, but we gotta.
Yes.
Okay, so as I was saying, we are going back to the fan favorite plane of Innistrad and all of its gothic horror glory. We're also inviting players to take part in the Harvesttide Festival, where werewolves and warlocks roam the woods in Midnight Hunt.
And one thing is always certain: when you're on Innistrad, there's always something scary lurking in every corner or card. You ready to do this?
It is time to become what you fear, Jimmy.
Yeah? What do you mean? That's weird. Just interesting.
And here we have Maris Mullally, the narrative design manager at Wizards of the Coast. Hi, Maris.
Hey, Maris.
Hi, it's good to see you guys.
Hey, just a heads up, I gotta get out of here before sunset.
Should be a problem.
He's just messing. He's not. He's totally fine.
Ja.
So, Maris, we're going back to
Schaut's einmal an, wie er
back to
schaut.
Innistrad. Our first time we were there, 2011, a whole decade ago.
Jeez.
It's been 5 years since the last time we visited Innistrad, at least in our timeline,
Wow,
in our
so,
world.
I mean, that's a lot of time passed. What's been going on in Innistrad since then?
Since we last were there, the Eldrazi are gone, but it's still a pretty dangerous place for humans. Innistrad in general is just built around gothic horror themes, so there's darkness, there's the creepy, ominous shadows, and all of the creatures that hide in those shadows.
Okay, well, you know, I always loved how immersive Innistrad was, so can you tell us a little bit about the process of returning to a plane that people are familiar with? Like, what's new this time?
Part of it was we went old. Like, we had the Eldrazi in the last time we visited Innistrad, but this time we said, okay, we want to go full back. What are the core themes of original Innistrad? Werewolves, ghouls, zombies, but we wanted to add a bit of charm and flavor and remind everybody that while humans are delicious and the bottom of the food chain, they are also resilient, and they've been all about survival. So we've got a big centerpiece of Midnight Hunt, which is the Harvesttide. And it's a place where some of the humans, a coven of witches, have come to kind of try to help the humans because, you know, when you mess with the moon, it starts really messing around with your day-night cycle, and things are getting dark. The chances that the humans have to kind of survive is getting harder. Longer nights, shorter days. It's time for the Dawnheart Coven to try to fix things.
Okay, so the moon has been messed with. Consequences are happening.
Yes.
What are the other things that were really important when you guys came back to Innistrad that you thought we had to keep these? We have to focus on these.
Well, we have to keep things like vampires and werewolves, and for Midnight Hunt, we decided we really wanted to just focus.
Holy smokes!
Gotcha.
You know,
Wait, what do you mean? What are you so happy about?
I mean, you know, people like werewolves, you know, they're popular. People.
Yes.
they're
Ist er
exciting,
furry?
fierce.
Exciting, fierce,
handsome.
Also, ist der Charakter, den er spielt, a furry?
Okay, well, focusing back on the set here.
Oder ist er wirklich
I feel
Werwolf?
like the inhabitants of Innistrad, right? You said
Not
whimsy.
sure.
Does that mean
Yes.
that they're gonna have a party?
We haven't had a chance to ever show humans on Innistrad having a party. It's time for them to show off that they've got a little bit of lightheartedness, they have hope, they have come
Die sind
together.
richtig glücklich da drinnen auf dem Bild, gell?
Face the
Das
darkness
ist so richtig.
And what kind of characters could we expect to see in the set?
Well, the primary folks at the Harvesttide are the humans, but Innistrad is also home to werewolves, vampires, geists, zombies.
Moment, Geists?
Oh my gosh.
Warlocks.
Warlocks, yes, who are also kind of humans. And warlocks are a subgroup of humans. Yeah.
So the humans have started figuring out how to
They're the magical humans.
battle against
Yes.
the creatures of the night.
They don't want to just all be food.
Right. Well, you know me, I'm a
Warum?
visual learner. Can we see some of
Kann man
these
nichts
amazing
dagegen.
Yes.
cards? A lot.
Yes, let's start with the werewolves. Let's start with the creative, exciting heart
Jetzt kommt's.
of midnight.
Karten?
Oh, wow. Look
Wow.
at this.
Zeig mir die Karten.
Attacks happening. People in Kessig are going missing. There is rumor of a
Leichenflitterer.
new hell pack that has kind of started forming and is growing rapidly. And as the nights get longer, it's just
Silberig?
it's just perfect for them. Their hunting time.
Schau, da sieht man.
Well, it looks like
Da
there's
sieht man
a
das
pumpkin
Zeichen
being
auf der
ripped
Erde oder was das
apart.
war.
The werewolves are just kind of trashing the Harvesttide Festival, is that right? The party,
They
they've
don't like
invaded
the
party?
decor. They don't like the decor. I
They
mean,
weren't invited to the party, and now they're angry, and they're going to
you
come.
make a fair point. They probably weren't invited to the party.
There are other things happening. The humans are fighting on the front lines. As it
Oh,
appears
diese
like the warlocks are doing a lot
gebartete
very
Axt.
They
well.
are.
Schön.
Like, humans on Innistrad, they are all
Boah,
about
diese
survival.
Zeichen,
It's
diese-
hard to be in the bottom of the food chain, but they are resilient. Some of them
Artwork
have
ist schon
taken
geil.
up arms as soldiers, as Cathars, to fight back the forces of night.
Epstein, hey, cool.
Used to follow Avacyn, but now that she's gone, they've taken other paths. And some are returning
Oh,
to
ich liebe diese
the
Maske.
magic
Oh mein Gott.
of the past, and those are the Covens and the Hedge Witches and the Warlocks.
Well, and they always say you have to know your enemies.
Jo, Warlock
werewolves
Tribal,
are
oder?
not fans of vampires. Where do the vampires play into all of this?
So the vampires, they're present, but they're kind of hanging back and watching what the werewolves are doing. They are interested in this long night. They are interested in the growing despair that the humans are feeling. But they're going to let the werewolves do the work right now. We'll definitely see a lot more of those
Growing
vampires in our
Despair,
next
das
set.
machen sie eh schon die ganze Zeit auf
That makes a lot
Innistrad.
of sense.
Yeah.
All right, now how about the zombies? This is one of my favorite creature types of all time.
Yes, we got someone for you.
Okay.
Meet Wilhelt, the rock.
Oh, hallo?
So Wilhelt the Rock Cleaver is
So, kurz mal warten. Whenever another zombie you control dies, if it didn't have decayed, create a token with decayed. It can't block when it attacks, sacrifice it at the end of combat. Okay. At the beginning of your end step, you may sacrifice a zombie. If you do, draw a card. Das ist eine nette Card Draw Engine. Ich habe mein Mikrofon übersteuert ein bisschen. Das ist echt eine nette Card Draw Engine. Ha. Engine.
one of our new commanders, and this card features one of the new zombie mechanics, Decay.
Das ist cool.
Decayed. It can't block. When it attacks, sacrifice it at end of combat.
Nice. Oh, der schaut
Okay,
süß aus.
hordes of decaying zombies.
Yes.
Sign me up.
Oh no, look. The zombie is armed. Okay, gut, ich mach schon weiter.
Oh yes, always.
Not for me. I am not a zombie guy.
No?
Nah.
If you're not a fan of zombies, how do you feel about ethereal spirits from the graveyard?
Okay.
Okay.
I'm listening.
So we've got our Geist, we've got our spirits. This is Beloved Beggar, and Beloved
Disturb.
Beggar is featuring one of the new mechanics for Midnight Hunt, which is called Disturb.
Jetzt bin ich gespannt.
Disturb. You may cast this card from your graveyard transformed for its disturb cost.
Transformations on Innistrad are pretty common,
Yep.
from humans to werewolves, the dead to becoming the undead, or in this
Oh,
case, a
sie ist
spirit.
gebissen gut.
And when you pay the disturbed cost of Beloved Beggar, you can come back from your graveyard as, in this
Vierer.
case, Generous Soul, who's going to protect the village in his afterlife rather than...
If Generous Soul would be put into a yard from anywhere, exile it instead. Okay, Flying Vigilance mit 4, 5, 6. 6 Mana, 4 an 4, 4er? Flying Vigilance. Interessant. Wie soll er ankommen? Ich glaube, das schaut gar nicht einmal so schlecht aus. Ich glaube, das könnte sogar was werden im Limited. Ich glaube, das könnte sogar was werden. Would be put into a graveyard. War das immer schon so?
going along to the
Kind of
Blessed Sleep.
sus.
Wow, I love that mechanic.
Yeah.
It's great. So they actually come out of the graveyard transformed into this new ethereal form.
This is cool. This is cool.
Yeah.
To help the humans.
Some to help the humans. I'm sure not all of them are here to help the humans. Some might actually be around to help the werewolves or the vampires.
Well, I love the transform mechanic, and I feel like with these two sets coming in, there has to finally be enough cards to make a transform deck happen, so that's pretty cool.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
All right, well, this has been an amazing look at the plane and the creatures of Midnight Hunt. But now the story revolves around the Harvesttide Festival, which we're all in the middle of here.
Das schaut richtig cool aus, auch die
What's this festival all
Design-Dings.
about?
The Harvesttide is a week-long event. At the center of the event is a ritual that involves the Celestis, where the Dawnheart Coven is pretty sure that the moon and the Eldrazi in the moon is the reason that we're having this imbalance with our day and night. So they want to do a ritual that will fix that. And this is a time to connect with the woods, connect with the other humans.
Why would you have a festival in the middle of a werewolf wood?
Why not?
That's also where the Celestis is. But you know, we've got magic up, we've got little warning.
Okay.
But it completely makes sense to me now. The werewolves are angry. Why are they throwing a party in the middle of their woods without inviting them? I mean, come on, this is like you setting up to have a barbecue in my backyard and you didn't invite me.
It's true. Yep. I'm so sorry when that happened. I really didn't mean for that to offend you.
This actually happened a few weeks ago.
And you brought all of this fresh meat to the barbecue as well.
We did. Something tells me things are not going to go quite as planned. Is there any art that we can get a better idea of what's going to happen at this festival?
I mean, if you're going to take the pessimistic approach, I can show you this, which purely hypothetical.
Okay.
Oh,
I'd like to believe that the event is going to go well.
Kürbis sind
Well, it
geil.
looks like there's definitely some trouble brewing in these woods. Quite nice.
Ist es,
Right.
das ist
All right, well,
Amulett.
Jimmy
Okay,
and I
gut.
need to keep
Das
this
ist-
caravan
das-
moving
beim
and
Dings
learn a
da war.
little bit more about the development of Midnight Hunt. But
Yeah.
Maris, thank you so much for your input.
You're very welcome.
Thanks, Maris.
Jetzt war Neue Mechaniken, haben wir
Be
schon
safe in those
kennengelernt.
woods.
Das ist
we
cool.
try. Do we? That's your belly, right, Joe? You're just hungry, right?
Yeah, totally.
Wird sie einfach da gelassen, ja? Ja, klar. I'm fine. This is fine. Ja, das ist cool.
This way, Jimmy.
Yeah. Oh, well.
Someone smells like
Very good
pumpkins.
directional sense. We are joined by creative director Doug Beyer and senior art director Taylor Ingverson. How's it going, guys?
Going great. How are you?
Fun Fact, die Kürbis da hinten sind
Maris
Hokkaido.
talked to us a little bit
Sehr
about
gute
the woven
Speisekürbis,
story
muss
of
ich dazu
Midnight
sagen.
Hunt, but I wanted to dive deeper.
That's right. Let's dive deeper.
Let's do it.
All
Bin
right.
ich gespannt.
We all know that
Mehr Karten,
on
mehr
Innistrad,
Karten.
things are always pretty rough for the humans. They're kind of the low part of the food web, if you will.
Bummer for us.
Food Web.
But this time during
Netz.
Midnight Hunt, things are even
Interessant.
scarier. The days are getting shorter, they're getting colder, the nights are getting longer. There's whispers that like maybe we won't even see another sunrise.
Ever?
Ever. If nobody does anything. So we're looking at a world where there's this unnatural darkness encroaching on the world, and with it, it's bringing this unseasonal, weird, supernatural frost that's kind of falling over the whole world.
Oh,
You can see
also
this
nicht
frost in
Wintereinbruch.
this cycle of dual lands.
Oh. My favorite words in the
Duas?
world. Let's take a look.
Hallo, meine Schönheit.
What's coming down out of the sky here? Is that
Overgrown
that
farmer,
frosty
deserted
Yeah, we're
beach,
actually seeing some of the disruption.
shipwreck
with
marsh.
the
Es sind
current
alles
occupants of the
Rares.
moon.
Die kann
That's
man nicht
caused some
getappt haben
weirdness
wahrscheinlich.
in the day-night
Haunted
pattern on
Ridge.
Innistrad, and that's this effect that you're seeing in the sky right now.
Voll whale.
You can also see these dual lands in borderless versions.
Halt. Was haben wir da? Overgrown farmland enters the battlefield tapped unless you control 2 or more other lands. Die gefallen mir. Die gefallen mir.
About the frost is because it is Innistrad,
schaut's euch
so even
die-
the frost is pokey and dangerous.
Schaut euch die,
Well, as
die
a
Bilder
land
an, die
fanatic,
sind
are
doch
we
herrlich.
doing
Sind die, ja.
special with the basic lands in this sense?
Well, yes, if you like
Da haben sich die
special
Artists wieder
lands,
selbst getroffen.
there's also the Showcase Eternal Night lands. So take a look at these.
Eternal Night, oh ja,
I
gut, das
love
sind die.
the black and white
Die kennen wir schon.
artwork. It's
Das
very
schaut richtig
reminiscent
cool
of,
aus.
like cold classic horror movies that I stayed up late on the weekends watching when my parents weren't paying attention.
Da muss mir ja das eine oder andere
I love
Playset
the
holen.
idea that if it's just moonlight, it kind of does take the color away from the world and adds that bleakness a little bit.
And if you're really digging those, Joe, you're gonna love this. Those are not reserved specifically just for the lands. We're gonna be able to see that treatment on all sorts of creatures as well. Okay, the first one up is Jadar, Ghoul Caller.
Hello?
It's the decay keyword again.
At the beginning of your end step, if you control no creatures with decayed, als 2-Drop, Scheibengleister.
It's all
Also
about making a bunch of zombies.
Die Mir-Zombies?
Okay, so he's
Go
a
for it.
human necromancer, it looks like, who's maybe dabbled in the dark arts and
Yeah.
can control zombies.
I thought he was giving him a haircut, to be honest, but
Wo ist Geralt?
Your hair and your nails do grow.
that's right.
Dies und Geralt hätte ich auch noch gerne
so
singen.
Someone has to get in there.
Yeah, every good zombie needs a good barber. That's a quote I heard all the time growing up. And here's Jadar in the Showcase Eternal Night treatment.
Ja,
And I love the fact that you're able to see two versions of the same thing, especially because this black and white version has that awesome mask. That
For
plague doctor
Christ's
looks
sake,
really
schaut das
well.
geil aus.
It almost feels like it's the fairy tale version a little bit too. Like if
Yep.
you told the story of this person, the kid might imagine the
Also
tongue
mit
coming out
die,
like
mit die
that,
Brüllen
looking
oben
much
drauf,
scarier,
mit der
kind of ominous
Pestmaske,
version.
da kannst du runterziehen und fertig.
Something cool about
Das ist
Innistrad
doch
is that
Hammer.
You could describe the scariest thing possible, and it still might not be as scary as the real thing that shows up at your doorstep.
Right.
But also immediately recognizable to this particular set. What was the inspiration for this Eternal Night storyline feature?
Yeah, so just kind of like everything else in this time around on Innistrad, it really leans into the day-night cycle being all jacked up and really wonky. So the sun is kind of the
All
opposite of the
jacked up.
moon, so we really wanted to think about what could be high contrast and opposites in the artwork, and that
This
led
is
us
cool.
to the inspiration of jumping back into old classic movies and movie posters, the black and white, and it really just helps it jump off.
Beim weißen Kürbis weiß ich gar
Yeah,
nicht,
wow,
was
that
das für
is really
Sorten ist.
cool.
When I noticed that with magic art, that you really do allow artists to then reimagine a character that maybe fans were aware of previously, and now you get to see them in a new way.
So, if you like werewolves, you like Arlen, who is our favorite werewolf planeswalker. She's pulled between the human
Arlen.
side and her
Ooh.
wolf essence.
This is the standard frame for Arlen, the Pax
Hello?
Note, Daybound. If a player casts no spells during their own turn, it becomes night next turn. And on the flip side, Arlen, the Moon's Fury, Nightbound.
Until end of
If a player
turn,
casts at least 2 spells during their
5/5.
own turn, it becomes day next turn.
So Arlen is our favorite werewolf
Für
planeswalker.
4 Mana, 4
Her story's always been
Planeswalker.
about being stuck
Until
between
your
her
next
human
turn, you
side
may
and
cast
her
creature
wolf
spells
side.
as though they had
She's
flash, and
called
each creature you
to
control enters the
Tovar
battlefield with an
doing
additional
this
+1/+1.
set, but she's
Das
also
ist
concerned about
cool,
the
ist
extinction
das.
of all humans on this world.
Was für ein
She
geiler
is reaching
Planeswalker.
out to other planeswalkers to help. She's concerned that if this day-night cycle disruption goes on, that the sun will never come up again, and it's going to be a whole deal.
Right.
And Arlen also comes in this Equinox frame, so that you can see her and a bunch of werewolves and warlock creatures in the set that have this frame.
That's fantastic.
Something that is
Scheibenkleister.
particularly exciting with Arlen on this one is on her human side, if you look closely, you can see this is sort of one of the first times we get to see a wolf kind of half in,
Ja,
half out
stimmt.
of their transformation.
Ha,
I
cool.
also love this surrealistic style. That's such
Das
a
ist
cool
richtig geil.
collector.
Exactly, that's been our
Rios.
to broaden out the visual
And
style
Rios.
that Magic captures. You can be a fan of this style and somebody else is not that into it. That's okay. There's all
The
these
borderless
different expressions
version
of
gefällt mir
visual
nicht.
excitement of Innistrad in different styles.
Right. So the Eternal Night frames show that darkness, and the Equinox frames show the brightness that could possibly occur. But I love these Equinox frames. There's so much flavor, and I love the
herrlich.
small details in between them too, from day to night, which you can really feel.
Das
in
sind
the art,
so
which is
viele Sachen
awesome.
zum dazu
Right, the sun
anschauen.
in the corner, then you get the moon,
Yeah.
you get that crescent moon there.
That's awesome.
Ja, boah, bist du
Don't look
damit.
too hard at the moon, right?
You know, speaking of moon, I'm feeling a little itchy, Jimmy. If we, I want to move this along.
Yeah, let's definitely do that. He's such a good actor, this guy. I love it. Okay, well, where were we? Right. Arlen, and you mentioned someone named Tovalar. Who's that?
Yeah, so with the growing, like, nights are getting longer and the cycle's all messed up, Arlen is becoming more and more concerned with sort of the strength of the Howl packs on Innistrad, and in particular, one leader called Tochlar.
Oh, hey! Is a werewolf commander.
Hey!
So exciting.
Very powerful
Nice.
werewolf commander.
Yeah.
Now I notice Tovalar is holding something in his hand. He has a
Whenever a wolf or werewolf you control deals combat damage to a player, draw. Entschuldigung. Das ist mir noch nie passiert und heute schon wieder. At the beginning of your upkeep, if you control 3 or more wolves and or werewolves, nice. Es wird Nacht. Transform any number of human werewolves you control. Oh, nice. Also jedes Mal, wenn ein Wolf oder Werwolf schon macht, kriegst du schon einmal Karten. So geil. Und dann, wenn es 3 oder mehr Wölfe oder Werwölfe kontrollierst, wird es Nacht automatisch. Du kannst andere Wölfe, Menschen-Werwölfe, so, transformieren. Menschen-Werwolf gleich wie er selber ist. Und Daybound, ja okay. Das ist dann automatisch. Und Nightbound, sagen wir so. Tovalar, der Midnight Scourge. Der schaut irgendwie ein bisschen aus wie ein Leonin. Aber das ist doch herrlich. Das ist doch geil. Whenever a wolf or werewolf you control deals combat damage to the player, ja, das bleibt. Und X Rule, Target Creature. Okay, der Trample Enabler. Okay, das ist plus X plus 0 und Gains Trample. Das ist nice, das ist cool. Das passt super zusammen.
Yeah, he's sort of the first werewolf to transition, still holding on to his beloved weapon. So he's the first wolf that'll be roaming around Innistrad, swinging around a sword.
So he's not full beasting out. He actually retains some of that humanity.
Yeah, he's pretty unique in that sense that he can sort of maintain a little bit of his composure even when his humors get the better of him.
These werewolves do look a bit scarier than the ones I think we've seen in the past. Even the ones that were mixed with Eldrazi, these look very strong.
Something that is super, super cool and really special about werewolves on Innistrad is that we're so excited to introduce a new strain of werewolf called the Dire strain, which Tovalar is actually the leader of. And they are massive.
Holy smokes.
A Tovalar in his human form can stand head-to-head with a basic werewolf on Innistrad. And then when he wolfs out, he's even bigger. Bigger, stronger, faster, and holy buckets, you wouldn't want to run into one in a dark alley.
Oh, that's definitely for sure. Good thing they're
nice.
On our side. So you created this day-bound, night-bound mechanic to mimic how the werewolves transform. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, so transforming is a huge part of going back to Innistrad. Werewolves flipping back and forth from their human side to their werewolf side is something that people are familiar with. And this time around, especially with the new expressions of werewolves that we're bringing in, it was a good opportunity for us to really sort of highlight stories from your human side to your wolf side. So you'll see similar jewelry, clothing, and any adornments, even wacky hairstyles transferring over to your wolf side. And then with the Dire strain, since they sort of are most comfortable in their skin as a wolf, they kind of embody that in their human form. So they intentionally wear larger jewelry, bigger, baggier clothing, because they're kind of uncomfortable in their human skin. And when they wolf out, everything fits just perfectly.
Yeah, very smart. I love that you've done some research and talked to werewolves about issues that they've had and then incorporated them into the card.
No, I'm just thinking about everything you've said today, Joe, and I'm getting more nervous. I'm also really excited because I hope we get to see more cards before I die.
Well, you want to see some more cards? More cards.
Okay, sick. Let's do it.
Jawohl, mehr
I
Karten.
know these werewolves seem intimidating, but that's okay because the humans have some stuff up their sleeves as well. They are joining with the forces of the Dawnheart Coven, which is a force of witches and warlocks. They're coming out of the woodwork. They're kind of an ancient, nature-worshipping coven of warlocks led by Catilda. And they are here to do something about
ich
this
liebe
day-night
diesen
disruption.
Kopfschmuck.
They want
Oh
to put a
mein
stop
Gott,
to
ist
it
das
so
geil.
that the world
Holy
can be
smokes.
safe for humans again.
Right, and Avacyn's gone, right? So they need someone to look to in these dire times.
That's right. So
Avacyn
in
is tot.
Avacyn's absence, they have turned their
Avacyn's
worship to
absence.
Archangel
Okay, cool.
Sigarda. So would you like to see
New
cool
Sigarda?
angel? New angel.
Celestia?
count
Sigarda.
me
Let's take a look
in.
at her.
Finally, some
Weißgrün?
non-werewolves.
She has this Coven mechanic,
Coven.
very powerful card actually, which you can see there. The Coven mechanic represents this connection, this pact that's between.
So, zwar 4 für einen 4-4er Flying Trample Angel, super. humans you control get +1/+1 und Coven. Wenn sie angreift und du 3 oder mehr Creatures mit verschiedenen Power, 3 oder mehr Kreaturen mit verschiedenen Stärken kontrollierst, look at the top 5 cards of your library. Ich glaube, das mit den 3 oder 4 oder mehr Kreaturen mit verschiedenen Stärken, das wird wahrscheinlich das sein. Wird Coven sein. 5 cards of your library, die obersten 5 Karten von einer Bibliothek. Und du darfst dir einen Human, also einen Menschen, Creature Card, davon revealen, also vorzeigen, and put it into your hand und ziehen. Der Rest kommt in the bottom of your library in a random order.
Between the Dawnheart Witches and their allies at the Harvesttide Festival.
Ja,
This is showing how diverse groups of creatures are all coming together to work against the werewolves and use their powers, their different powers, literally their different power and toughnesses to be their source of strength.
Teamwork makes the dream work, as
That's right.
always. Very cool.
Sigarda also comes in an Eternal Night frame.
Oh,
yeah, that's
Beautiful.
awesome.
I mean, I love that it's a close-up. You know, there's so much to look at in terms of the cards. Like each card is its own work of art. There's so much to explore in each one of these images.
Speaking to my heart.
These are awesome sort of examples too, just bringing it back again of like allowing artists to sort of play around in the toolbox that we provide.
Right.
You can see in her Eternal Night version, she's got a lot more of like a flower crown going on, sort of bringing in again a lot more of that Harvesttide vibe to really sort of taking the flowers and everything that's happy and hopeful around this event.
And the floating candles too is a really nice touch.
Yeah.
Speaking of floating candles, you want us like Taylor and I love us some floating candles. They're all over this world. They're all over this set. We just couldn't get enough of it as a visual motif, seriously.
Okay.
But one of the characters that's really focused on the Harvesttide Festival is Lenore, Autumn Sovereign, who's kind of the elected queen of this entire festival.
Oh, beautiful. That pose is so cool. It looks like
Komm ein bisschen
Lenore's
näher.
just celebrating the
Lenore. Das erinnert mich an Nevermore. Beim Nevermore, beim Gedicht vom Edgar Allan Poe, kommt auch My Sweet Lenore vor. Kommt mir vor. Kann man da was lesen? At the beginning of combat on your turn, put a +1/+1 counter on up to one target creature you control. Then if you control 3 or more creatures with different powers, draw a card. Okay, gut. Am Anfang vom Combat kriegst du mal einen +1/+1 Counter auf ein Viech drauf von dir und dann darfst du Karten ziehen. Geil.
Festival here?
Yeah.
0/4 für 4 Mana. Gut, jetzt ist
crazy.
super.
You can go with your costuming coming to the Harvesttide Festival.
Lenore, Autumn
Again with the floating candles, she's got those sort of assisting her with her dress and her clothes.
Der ist sogar schon
all sorts of other
vor
things that
ewigen
she's got
Zeiten
going on. You can
geworden.
really go all out and feel one with nature and really one with the warmth and the light that this event brings.
So is this it? Is Arlen really just up against this entire force by herself with just these warlocks and humans around?
No, so like we've been talking about, she is super concerned with the growing night for human safety. So she goes and calls her friend, the Time Mage himself, to ferry. And he travels all the way over to Innistrad to lend a hand with all of his time magic powers. And we actually have his art here that we can show for you.
I love how the phases of the moon now are shown. He's trying to manipulate the phases. I love the way that's
Scheiße, naja,
It's really cool.
Those are those happy moments where we write certain things and then who we collaborate with.
Magic Standard wird nie loswerden, oder?
Something special to it, and this is one in particular.
Very fitting planeswalker to slow down whatever's happening over there, right?
Well, I mean, to try.
Yeah.
Everyone's doing their best.
Right, and Harvesttide is really not just a big party. This is actually a ritual. That the hope is this ancient spell will be able to rectify the day-night imbalance. The Dawnheart Coven are coming to the Celestis, which is this massive astronomical device in the Keswick Woods. They're putting the Harvesttide Festival there so that they can cast this ritual. They've got Teferi's time magic trying to slow down that last sunset.
Aber die Zelte werden wahrscheinlich nicht stehen bleiben, wenn du sie in Motion gerät, also in Bewegung.
Silver Key, which we can see here in the card Secrets of the Key.
Very cool. So that's them working together, but more importantly,
read the web fiction to find out more. The fuck? Invest. If the spell was cast from a yard, investigate twice. Okay. Oh, Flashback. Form. Die Frage ist nur, wenn es dir geht, du kriegst einen Clue-Token für 2 Mana, kannst du das opfern, dass du nachher Karten ziehen kannst. Aber
we have 2 mechanics on here that I'm really excited about. Investigate as
und
well
Flashback.
as Flashback, which is an Innistrad classic.
Sind
Look at this
5
art. They're
Mechaniken?
clearly on the precipice of making
5?
things better. Well, they're right there. Maybe they're gonna get it.
Is there anything else that you want or can tell us about the making of this set?
Eine rein rote
It was
Karte
an
haben wir noch nicht
absolute
gesehen.
blast to work on,
Glaube ich.
and so excited for it
Kann
to
das sein?
finally come to life and people to grab onto it and blast open packs. It was great to visit a beloved fan favorite plane, and it's a lot of our favorite planes as well. We got to bring some hope and some warmth to it that Innistrad doesn't usually get to see, and we also got to bring on some more good old scary bits that put the humans in even more danger.
Mehr Gothic Horror.
Super honest and really a little bit selfish. Werewolves are my favorite monster of all time, and I was just super, super excited to make some really big ones.
Interesting.
Große Werwölfe.
Yeah, we should.
Look at all these werewolf lovers. You guys, okay, cool.
All right,
Yeah.
I think I'm going to speak for a lot of people out there that want to know, do Teferi and Arlen ever find the Moonsilver key in time?
Well, I can't tell you the whole story quite yet, but if you are interested in more
Spoiler.
of the tale, there's going to be a Midnight Hunt web fiction coming out very soon.
Oh, exciting.
Webfiction, das heißt, auch wieder was zum Anschauen. Ich kenne da einen wunderbaren YouTube-Channel, der da definitiv was machen wird. Denke mal, hoffe ich mal.
It all looks incredible. There's so much to look forward to with
Der
this set.
liebe
And check it out,
Jan.
Joe. We finished just in time, a few minutes before the sun sets, and you're gonna turn into a werewolf, right?
Yeah, all right, we better wrap this up.
Yeah, we better, because you're definitely not messing with me, right?
So you thought I was messing with you?
Yeah, because that's the kind of thing you like to do, mess with people.
Oh, really?
Yeah, professional messer over here.
Hey, look, I'm as curious as anybody if Joe's going to turn into a werewolf, but I kind of got to go, so...
Fine.
Fine.
Oh.
Previews are starting now, so be sure to sign up and tune in on September 16th for the launch of Midnight Hunt on Arena. And maybe there will be some other, special things to go along with it.
And you can also head to your local game store to plan a pre-release on
fun.
September 17th.
Yeah, well, thank you all for joining us, and we'll see you next time.
All right, bye.
Wupp, wupp.
Bye.
Oof, good stuff, man. You want to get like a bite to eat or something?
Oh,
I'd love to, Jimmy.
ja, Review. Become what you fear. Na, herrlich. Ja, das schaut ja schon einmal recht gut aus. Ich bin schon sehr gespannt, was da alles kommen wird. Noch sonstige Karten. Also die Spoiler-Season ist ja jetzt offiziell aktiviert. Ich habe leider keine Preview-Karten, noch nicht. Haha, ich bin da viel zu klein, also von daher wurscht. Aber ich freue mich schon drauf. Und da wird es wieder wahrscheinlich, ja klar, warum machen wir nicht eine Pre-Release-Challenge? Mache ich auch wieder damit. In dem Sinne, danke fürs Zuschauen. Schön, dass du dabei warst. Ich bin schon richtig gehypt. Wird schon cool. Vielen Dank, Servus und Baba.